Hi guys, I'm back and I am going to proceed to get the epoxy resin uh, put on the back of the guitar. Um, and I was sitting here wondering about how I'm going to do this because, as you know, I put it on the front and it dripped all over the bottom because I didn't take time to check it out and keep an eye on it to use the brush on it to make sure that it was not going to run into drips, and it did. So I've got to be more aware of that. But this time around, I decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a light coat of resin on it, and hopefully that'll um, keep it from dripping. Um, and plus the fact too that I'm going to keep a close eye on it this time, and hopefully make sure that there are not going to be any drips, because that would really ruin the guitar if I ended up having drips all along the front edge of this. So I'm going to have to just make sure that that doesn't happen. And I've got my cavities taped off here. I've got the drill holes for the neck blocked off here, and to keep the resin from running through it. So I'm going to proceed and get the mixture poured. I've been warming up the hardener and the resin both in warm water, and what that does is it minimizes the bubbles, and it makes it easier to work with, and it's not very warm down here. Of course, I'm working in a cold environment down here in the basement, so that is going to mean that the hardening time, or I should say the curing time for the epoxy resin is going to be longer, unfortunately, but at least it'll, like I said, it's going to minimize the bubbles, and plus the fact too that I have got a contingency plan to get rid of the bubbles. But for right now, I am going to pour the resin in first, and I'm not going to use that much because, like I said, I'm going to put a light coat on here. Okay, I think that's plenty. Okay, I have stirred this for at least 6 minutes, and so I'm ready now to start applying the epoxy resin to the back of the body of the guitar here, and so wish me luck. I'm going to just start taking the brush and applying it in brush strokes. And the good thing about this stuff is that it is self-leveling, so it doesn't matter how I apply it, as long as I get it pretty much on all the areas that I want to get it on. It would be better if I could just take it and pour it on like I did the front, but as I mentioned, I don't want to do that because I don't want to end up getting drips coming all over the place. So I'm hoping this is going to work, my plan here. So I'm glad this is going to be self-leveling, because sure as heck doesn't look level right now, but like I said, maybe I can keep this stuff from running by applying it the way that I'm going to be doing here. And if it doesn't look as good as I want it to look, which I don't see why that would happen, I can always put another coat on it. But as thick as this stuff goes on, I probably doubt if I'll need to put another coat on. I don't really want to go through this any more times than I have to. Thing covered here. Seems to be a spot there that doesn't want to get done. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty well covered. I'm hoping these edges don't run. But like I said, I'm going to have to keep a close eye on this. Doesn't appear to be running, so that's good. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, let's see if I can get a good vantage point where you can view that. It definitely looks wet on pretty much all of the back of the guitar. Okay, this might be a better vantage point here. Yep, it's looking good, and it doesn't look like it's stripping on the edges, at least not right now. So there we go. I'll leave it at that, and we'll see you guys on the next step. Okay, it's been several hours now since I applied my epoxy resin. And so far it's looking really good, and there does not appear to be a whole lot of drips. Matter of fact, hardly any, except for this area right in here. I've been seeing I've had to brush away some drips. But as far as the rest of the area around the rest of the edges, it's looking pretty good. No drips. So, but I've got to keep coming down and checking this, because I can sit there and say, you know, that there's not going to be any drips, and I was hoping that the last time around, but that's not the way it turned out. So, but what I'm hoping for is the fact that since I put on such a light coat of the epoxy resin, that it will not drip like it did when I did the front. So that's what I'm hoping for. So I'm just going to keep coming down and checking on this, and I'll just keep wiping away any drips, probably mainly from this area here. But other than that, it's looking pretty good, so we'll see you in the next step. Okay guys, I thought I'd show you my progress so far. I have been installing my accessories, and I've got the bridge on, and I've got the I've lined my cavities with foil, which of course that minimizes hum that you would get if you didn't have foil on there. And of course I've got it on in the cavity for the controls go. And so I've been working as trying to get the wires for the pickup to go through the little hole that I drilled, but the hole that I drilled was not big enough, so I had to re-drill it with using a bigger bit. And so I'm gonna try to see if I can get this through here, because I've got the wire going through that is gonna be my ground wire that goes underneath the bridge, and then hooks onto the one of the controls, the pots. So I've been working on that, but as you can see, I've been making some progress. The knobs that I got, unfortunately, were not the right size. I had to drill them out so they would fit, you know, my the volume and the control receptacles there. Like I said, I had to drill them out so they would fit, but I got them to fit. And anyway, this is my progress so far. I'll keep you updated and let you know how things are going. See you in the next step. Alrighty, I have finished installing the pickup, and I closed up the back cover where the controls are, and I'm ready to hook the neck on to my guitar body, and I will be putting the strings on, and hopefully I'll be having a guitar here ready to play. So I'll keep you informed here on my progress. Okay, I have now hooked the neck on to the body of my bass guitar. But of course the trick is, though, now after I put the strings on, I'm going to find out if the action is going to be okay with this or not. If it's not, then I'm probably going to have to do some sanding, which is what I had to do with this guitar kit that I had. So I may have to sand the neck down right underneath where it sits on the guitar body. So, but I'm going to go get the strings and put them on and see what it looks like. Okay guys, I have now installed my strings, and it's looking pretty good. It's looking better than I thought. I was checking out the action after I put the strings on, and the action is better than what I thought it was going to be. There's only one little issue. I don't know if these strings, what's going on with these strings, if the guitar is longer than what it was supposed to be or something, but the cloth winding on the strings is coming past where the nut is, and I don't know what's going on with that. I'm kind of thinking maybe, I don't know, I might have to get a different set of strings, but I'm going to go ahead and get this thing tuned up, and hopefully I'm going to have a working bass guitar. So other than the issue with the strings, I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to get this thing tuned up, and we'll come back and check it out. Okay guys, I finally got my bass guitar done. It took a long time, but I had a lot of issues with it, especially toward the end here, where I was trying to get everything, the electronics all set up, because the electronics were not working very good, and probably still needs to be tweaked a little bit, but I had to do some work with the neck. I had to set it so because the way it was, the strings were too high. The action was way too high. But I had to do a little tweaking down here with the bridge, and everything is looking good, and I am happy that I finally got this thing done. So I'm gonna play the bass guitar a little bit for you and let you see how it sounds. Alrighty, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed my videos, give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time around. This is the Sound Guy for You, signing off.